This week, President Biden will visit Poland, rather next week, excuse me, and you just got back from that bipartisan congressional delegation. What can you tell us about your trip and the sentiments among the officials and people you spoke to and heard from?
Well, first, the trip was put together by Mike Rogers, the chairman of the House Armed Services Committee, a Republican. There are concerns in his conference and a few in our conference that the aid, the military equipment is somehow being diverted, not getting to the front line. So we went to find out. In Greece, which is about 10% of the equipment, Romania, another 10%, but 80% in Poland. We went through the documents. We went in deep to follow very closely the path of the equipment from the United States to Europe, all the way to the front line. Came away very, very impressed by what the U.S. military is doing in delivering the equipment safely, securely, and quickly.
So is it safe to say you did not find anything to lead you to believe that weapons were not getting to the front lines or things were being diverted that should not have been?
That is correct. Now, the State Department and the military are bringing into Ukraine, repositioning in the embassy, probably a couple hundred people that will continue to do what we did, that is to monitor the flow of equipment, to monitor the paperwork, make sure that the armaments are going. At the airbase near the Polish border, there was probably well over 100 yards of very sophisticated munitions, 155 artillery, various rockets of multiple different kinds. All of that was being loaded immediately off the airplane that arrived from the United States, and within an hour or so on a vehicle headed off into Ukraine. Very, very impressive work by the U.S. military. The 101st Airborne Division was doing the work there.
What do you hope to hear from President Biden next week? Do you believe that the commitment to Ukraine is still ironclad, or now that Republicans are in control, it may be fraying a little bit?
Well, the president was very clear in the State of the Union. He said, we're in till this is over. And that's exactly what has to be done. Keep in mind that before the war started, NATO and the United States tried to negotiate something with Putin. Putin put forward his demands, which essentially are for NATO to get out of Eastern Europe and for the Warsaw Pact to be reestablished. In other words, rebuilding the Soviet empire. That's not going to happen. And Biden knows it. The Europeans know it. They're very, very strong on America's support on NATO. In fact, what Putin managed to do was to rebuild NATO. Trump did 4 years to try to destroy NATO. And in just 1 month before the war began, Biden and the European Union put together a strong NATO and a strong European Union. Sanctions went into place, and the equipment began to roll into Ukraine, and it will and it must continue to do so.
But just to follow up real quickly, are you worried that some of the Republicans are increasingly alarmed at the number of the amount of aid that's going to Ukraine and may try to stop it?
Well, there's some talk among the Republicans on this Codell. There were 2 Democrats, myself and Don Norcross out of New Jersey, and there's 5 Republicans. Those Republicans, one and all, were impressed, and I believe they'll come back. Certainly Rogers did. He and I issued a joint statement in support of what is going on. Bottom line is, if you want to see trouble in the Pacific, if you want to see China advancing in the Pacific, even attacking Taiwan, then the United States and NATO turn tail and leave Ukraine. If we were to do that, that's a signal to China that the United States has no fortitude, no willingness to keep with it until there is a satisfactory solution. So we've got to do this, not just for Ukraine, but really for the security of Europe and even more so for the security of the Western Pacific.